everyone, welcome back. First off, I want to say thank you to my new subscribers, old subscribers, anyone that watches my videos. I greatly appreciate it. Definitely appreciate the views. Now, as you can tell, I am traveling. However, I'm back in Billings, Montana. And since last week I talked about Billings, I don't want to do it again. So we're going to talk about something else. First off, let's just, so I can keep this kind of short. Gotta get prepared. It is November, and as you can tell, I am participating in No Shave November. However, I'm doing the goatee because I do work with doctors and I have to look professional, and I can't pull off a mustache. My wife would laugh hysterically if I tried it. So I'm not doing the mustache, I'm just doing the goatee. I am participating, as I mentioned, in No Shave November, as I did in my last video, and there is a link in the description below if you are so inclined to donate to a very worthy cause, which is men's health, and more specifically, suicide prevention. That is something that is very meaningful for me. I'm not going to go into any details, but it's just something that I am very aware of, and want to help as I can. But anyway, enough of that. The products I'm using tonight, of course, you all know the brush. This is my Craving Shaving Chop Traveler. Camera never picks up these colors on this thing. It's absolutely gorgeous. 26 Moldero knot, and it's sadly been discontinued. Whipped up my lather in my Phoenix Arts and Accoutrements Intergalactic Indestructible Travel Scuttle, or something along those lines. Fantastic bowl. Just whips up a nice lather here. One thing that I do want to mention with scuttles that I'll get into a little bit later on is that you do warm lather, and in between passes your lather might dry a little bit, so you might have to add a little more water, which is fine. Tonight I think I'm going to go with the PAA Starling with the open comb plate. There, the green one. And the soap that I'm using tonight is one of my favorite artisans. That was Yulay. The soap specifically is Merc. Now, I generally don't like to say things on here that, I like these products I absolutely thoroughly enjoy, and I love Yulay, don't get me wrong. The scent is not my favorite. It's described on the website, if I remember correctly, as something of steel, gunpowder, some cleanser, something like that. Then the picture of the Merc has like two katanas and eyes that remind me of Deadpool, which I'm a huge nerd. It's kind of part of the reason I wanted the sample, and I'm glad I got it in the sample size. Now, I will say the scent is growing on me, but it's still not one of my favorites. I'd still prefer to go with like Pina Colada or Mandarin, which is awesome. I've used that a few times. Another one I've used, I should use this on camera, talking about the silicone travel bowl from Yulay, and that is Limoncello. Beautiful scent here. One I haven't used yet, Achilles. These are just what's in my dop kit right now from Yulay. Those are very fruity or cologne-y. This one's very industrial. To me, as someone who grew up around firearms, it reminds me of after going trap shooting or plinking with my dad growing up. It reminds me of the gun cleaner that we'd use to clean the firearms. And if you want me to apologize for growing up shooting firearms, just stop watching right now because that ain't happening. Anyway, it reminds me of gun cleaner. And while I have some fond memories of the activities that are associated with this smell, I was never really fond of the scent. There is some faint gunpowder scent that I get once it's lathered, which is awesome. I just wish that were more forward, but it's not. It's very industrial, very cleaner to me. But as I mentioned, when I first got it in the container, it was a very, very strong scent. And it just, my wife said, no, use that when you travel. She didn't like it. She doesn't like it at all. Also, the container is one of these little solo things. You might be able to see it. It's cracked and broken and all beat all kinds of haze. So it's not the best for traveling. Now, Monica does have some of those little screw top plastic containers that are phenomenal. I love those containers. And I normally have those when I travel. But I've been instructed to use Merc while traveling, so I'm using that one as much as possible. And the performance is stellar. See, there just kind of fell off the razor, and it's just, and it still has some good body to it. It's slick. Hey, there's some stuff on there. I could have used my Chevette tonight. Performance on Vanillay is phenomenal. It is in my top 3 bases. The Vanillay is slightly different than some other artisan soaps. It's not just going to explode into lather like I've shown in my lathering video of Yulay. But it is some really dang good stuff. And this week, if you are following along on the Facebook groups, you may see some of the hashtag Vanillay week with some shaves. And that is because Monica is celebrating 20 years in business with Vanillay. And her husband, Elton, just got that over my shirt, just retired from his day job as a truck driver and is now joining Monica part-time, making soaps. So congratulations, Monica, for 20 years. And congratulations, Elton, on retirement. That is awesome. I'm very, very excited for both of you. And I look forward to, there it is, many, many more products coming. Because I know Monica, she's always working, always coming up with new scents. And I think the last count, there's like 212, something like that, scents that she offers. So seriously, if you haven't used this Vanillay yet, go check them out. Get some samples. Samples are awesome, because you can see what kind of scent you like, what kind of scent you don't like. And if you travel at all, they're phenomenal for putting in your dock kit. You can travel with a variety and have multiple soaps and not have a huge dock kit. So now, something else I'm using that you haven't seen, you've probably seen in some Facebook Lives that I've done, but I haven't really talked about it a whole lot in an actual video. And that is the travel scuttle from PAA, or Phoenix Artisan Accoutrements. Travel scuttle, this is the Gen 2. Not a whole lot of difference between the first one and the second one. It's blue instead of white. So you can see the soap in there a little easier. I don't have the first one, the first gen. But in speaking with Douglas, that hasn't changed a whole lot, maybe slight tweaks here and there to the design itself. but not a whole lot. Now, one thing I love with the travel scuttle, and granted this is my only scuttle that I own, so bear that in mind when I say this. The travel scuttle, you can take in the summer, fill it about halfway full of water, maybe a little less, pop it in the freezer for a couple hours, and have a really cold shave. Telling you, once you've done that, when it's really hot outside, like 100 plus, oh, best thing ever. Do that with the mentholated soap. Or another soap, you just add menthol to it via chill mill or something else, or the sterling drops. Cold scuttle plus mentholated soap equals summer amazingly cold shaves. It's fantastic. Now, in the winter, so as I mentioned, I'm here in Billings, Montana. Today was a high of, I think, 50 something, which is actually pretty dang warm. Tomorrow, it's supposed to be 23 or 26 and snowing. So, really cold. Now, granted, I'm in a hotel room and, I can come in here and have a nice hot shower and warm up. I don't need the scuttle to make me warm. But having that option on a nice, cold, snowy day, or even a day in the 50s, still having a nice hot lather, it's heavenly. It's seriously awesome. Now, as I mentioned a little earlier, if you are using the travel scuttle, I used a tip that I got from Stephen Davidson in his blog. If I can remember, and if I can find it, I'll put the link in the description below, where he talked about warm lather and how he achieved the warm lather. One of them using a candle warmer in his mug, the scuttle, and then what was the other one? I think he had a regular scuttle. I can't remember the exact one, I looked at it a couple days ago. But he has a travel scuttle as well, and he says he puts his in the microwave for 2 minutes. Now, of course, every microwave voltage varies, blah, blah, blah. So that's just a general guideline. Now, I used this same setup when I got here the other day. I put probably a little too much water in my scuttle, microwaved it for 2 minutes, and that was hard to hold on to because it was hot. But if you saw there just a few minutes ago, I was holding it. So the one downside, I mean the polyethylene, or I can't remember the exact material it's made out of, it does hold heat fairly well for plastic. However, it's not ceramic. So it doesn't have that ceramic heat retention. So your first pass is going to be phenomenal, just nice and hot and just gorgeous. Then for me, it kind of starts toning down a little bit as far as heat goes. And now it could be because I'm getting used to it. I'm not sure what that is exactly. But generally for me, by that third pass, there's not a lot of heat left in the lather. And also something to keep in mind is if you do get it really hot, like that 2 minute in the microwave mark, which I believe in a ceramic scuttle, if you put in boiling water, it will kill your lather because it's too hot, the water evaporates. The same does happen in the travel scuttle, but to a lesser extent. I do find that I am adding water into the scuttle between pastas. Via my handy dandy squirt bottle that just lives in my travel kit. But as you can see here, I worked it between my last pass, and there it is, kind of already kind of dry and bubbly. I whip it around a little bit, you can see it's really dry. I need to do a cleanup pass. I don't really need to do this, but I just take my squirt bottle and a couple quick pumps. Just work it. Now, because this is a cleanup pass, I don't need exceptionally slick lather. I'll add a little bit more. And a good thing with Van Yulay soaps is it can take water as well. It can be quite thirsty. Now with this, I do have enough. I could shave my head, but I shaved it last night off camera, so I'm not going to. And this is a really nice close shave. So we'll just do a little bit of cleanup in my travel spots underneath my neck and my cheek here. And I need to go this way a little bit. And I'm just really enjoying the shave. The lather is still warm, and don't get me wrong, it's not like room temperature warm. It's warmer than room temperature, I should say. Ooh. So still a very nice temperature, very comfortable. And I have some trips coming up where I'm going to some seriously cold places. Not that Montana's not already really dang cold. I am hardly home the month of December. And I'm going to 2 states. That is Ohio and Wisconsin. I know, right? Good time to go to Ohio and Wisconsin. December. So with that said, you're darn right I'm taking that scuttle. That is going to be going to both states with me. And back here to Montana, I'm going to come back the next 2 weeks that I will be here. So yes, I'll be in Montana for 2 more weeks. So again, I'm not going to be highlighting buildings twice more. There'll be more of a, I don't know what I'm going to talk about. This one was just kind of rambling about Van Yulay soaps and how much I enjoyed Van Yulay. And a travel scuttle and some tips. Now if you do like the hot towel and all that stuff, shaved, you know, hot towel with shaves, warm lather, I recommend getting one of these scuttles. They're phenomenal. I love it. I use it at home quite a bit for cold lather shaves. During the summer, and it was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Use it at home a few times for hot water shaves. And those have just been with tap water. I haven't put it in the microwave. But in my hotel this week, my microwave is literally right out this door. So, makes it easier. But anyway, I will spare y'all the cleanup. Try to keep this under 20 minutes. So I'm going to wrap it up right now. Thank you guys for tuning in. Seriously, look out some Van Yulay soaps. You won't regret it. Takes a little time to get lathered in, but it's phenomenal soap. Take a look at the PAA Travel Scuttle. Highly recommend. If you have small kids, you can't go wrong. Ceramic breaks. This Travel Scuttle, virtually indestructible. Highly recommend looking into it. Still nice and warm. Not scalding hot like it was when I pulled out of the microwave, but nice and warm. So, thank you again for tuning in, and I hope to catch you guys next week.